Welcome to the podcast of the impossible. I'm Peter Wood, and today I'm chatting with a magic performing, border collie loving, superhero figure collecting friend of mine. It's Mr. Barry Taylor.
I've never been described like that before. That's great.
I think that's accurate, right?
Yeah.
You know,
it is.
your three passions in life, right?
Yeah, well, I think border collies are magic.
You've shown me evidence that is true. But all the border collies of yours that I've met have done some amazing magical things.
Well, they are the smartest of all the breeds of dogs.
Sure,
They're rated
yep.
number one.
Yep.
And so that prompted me, especially being a magic shop owner and having the dog in the store all the time. Everybody knew it was Frankie back then.
Yep.
And everybody knew Frankie. Now I have my little angel Maggie May.
Yes.
But I wanted to, since they're so smart, I said, I'm going to teach them to do some magic tricks.
Yeah.
And they did, and they would fool the people that came in the shop.
Yep. No, and I remember opening the curtain, Frankie.
Oh, yes.
Opening the curtain in the Magic Theater and all sorts of
And
stuff.
then I would do shows in my magic shop because I built like a theater section. And so a lot of times with birthday parties in there, the kids were all there. Well, Frankie would open the curtain to get the show started.
Yeah.
And then during the show, he would interact in certain ways and do some tricks or interact where he stole my magic wand or my handkerchief.
Right.
And so the kids loved it.
Yeah. No, the only thing bad about that is that now you're following a dog, and that seems like there's nothing you can do that will be as awesome as what Frankie just did. You know?
Well, the funny thing is we played on that,
right?
And we'd have the kids who say, okay, everybody, we want to hear how much you liked Barry's doing his magic or Frankie doing his magic trick. So then my wife would put her hand on everybody for Barry's magic trick.
Right.
It's like crickets, you know.
Yeah. Some guy in the back, slow clap.
And then, what about? And then Frankie would be sitting right there, sitting next to me. What about Frankie the Wonder Dog? And everyone, woo! And you go, oh well.
No, it's you did that yourself. So
you gotta just don't have a big ego.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, last episode you were on, we started talking about celebrities, and I mentioned Andrea Bocelli, and what we didn't end up talking about was that you got a chance to perform for him, and you had to sort of come up with how do you do magic for someone who is unsighted. So what sort of went through your mind, or how did that all come about?
I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I got to think up some stuff.
Yeah.
Now they invited me and my wife to come and have dinner with him.
Okay.
In the private room at the Cafe Milano.
Oh, nice.
And this was after his concert. And of course they even gave us tickets to sit real close for his concert.
Cool.
And then I got to go backstage and interact with him. I even wrote a poem about him.
Okay.
And gave it to him. It was framed and all.
Nice.
But then we went to the Cafe Milano to have dinner. So we're all sitting in the big table. Uh-huh. And as the evening's progressing, I did a couple of tricks for the group.
Okay.
And mainly I'd have to kind of describe what was happening to him. But then I didn't want to leave him out. So I interacted with him in a way where he would do the magic for his guests.
Okay.
And I worked it out with him. I told him what we would do. And so we did a couple things that were a little more tactile.
Okay.
And that way he still would get a little bit of the magic.
Yeah.
But then also the setup was I'd have a card selected by someone and shuffle it. And then I'd have him wave his hand over the deck and get him to say some magic word. And I'd say, now, look, do you see your card? And they'd say no. And I said, Andrea, what did you do? He goes, well, Barry, if you, I'm not quite sure if I remember now. This is a while back.
Yeah.
But anyways, the whole effect was the card disappeared and went into his pocket.
Okay.
So nice. I said, well, maybe you did the famous trick where the card, it's called the card in pocket. So why don't you check your pocket, Andrea?
Okay.
And he said, oh, let me see. And he'd reach inside his coat pocket, and then he goes, no, Barry, there's nothing here. And I go, what? Now I know because the card, I loaded the card in his pocket.
Okay,
I was getting a pen and stuff.
Right.
So it was done in a discreet way.
Sure.
And now I'm going, what?
Huh.
The cards. I said, you sure, Andrea?
Yeah.
Check again, make sure. And he goes, no, Barry, there's nothing in here except this Due of Hato. And of course, he spoke it more in Italian.
Sure.
And the card that was selected was the 2 of hearts.
Right.
I'm sitting here going, what? Huh? So he tricked me.
Yeah.
He was a really nice guy. He had a great sense of humor.
Right.
I did another thing where he did a mind reading thing where I had some objects up here, and someone would pick one of the objects, and then I said, Andrea, don't look. And of course, if people don't know, Andrea Bocelli was blind.
Probably still is.
Yeah, he still is. And so then he was able to divine. I'd say, go ahead, put your hand over each of these. Just wave your hand over it. And then I had a way that he was informed what the object was, and he could tell the person.
Nice.
And he would divine it. And the same, we even did it with like some cards out on the table.
Okay.
So
Cool.
a couple things, and I had a way of, it was once again a tactile thing that he could know by a secret cue that he knew that, oh, this is the one.
Right. That's
so
great.
it was kind of neat where I tried to figure out some things that would make it where he was doing the magic and it involved him.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, that's great. I think that's especially for something that's typically so visual, but you like you say, you want to make sure that as many people as possible are able to experience it.
Yeah. Another thing, if he had I like to tell people when I'm performing, I like to use one of these because you see, if I just wave this,
nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
look at that. You see what happens?
Yeah.
Why do you think they call it a magic mark? Now, let me put that off to the side there.
All right.
Because actually they come in different colors too. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's the magic marker that does it.
And for anyone who's listening to this, they need to know that magic is happening.
Yeah.
So see if you can find the video version of it, because you're missing out.
So if you can just get one, you have it.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. Just wave it and
oof.
Woo, look at that. It
Works
worked
for
again.
red too.
So see, people, they want to get a hold of these from me. They want to use them. So that's why I got to keep it in a safe place. So I'm going to put that in there.
All right.
Now, oh, look, I should tell you, if I take this, I can take it like this, and I can kind of rub it, and then I can use my finger to cut it and split it into two.
Nice.
Look at that.
Good.
Now, Peter, I'm sure you're aware, but maybe the people out there in the audience, they're not too informed about techniques of magic.
Sure.
And how we study. But magic deals with a rhythm.
Okay.
A lot of movement is rhythm.
Sure.
And then a count. Maybe something is on the 3, 1, 2, 3, it happens.
Right.
Or like with this, it's like a 10 count. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Nice.
Wow.
That's great.
Cool. You know what?
Across,
Let me see if I can let you be part of this. I got to get my magic marker. Well, we'll wait on the magic marker. I'll just let you decide.
Okay.
Which one you want. You can go with this one, or you can go with that one. Okay. So it's your choice. This one or that one. So go ahead and take your finger and touch.
I think I like the squeaky
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
All right.
Whoops. Oh, wait. No, it's the other one. Oh yeah, that's the one.
Okay, yeah.
All right, well here, let me give you this one.
All
Hold
right.
on to it tight. Don't let go.
Okay.
And let me see. I keep forgetting. If I have things where well, we don't need to use the. I was
Okay.
going to try to use the magic marker, but that's all right.
Okay.
We'll just do it here.
All right.
Now look, hold your hand up here.
Okay.
And let me just put my finger here like that.
Okay.
There. Now, what you don't realize is I'm a Martian, and now you're pregnant.
Oh no.
But here, let's take this one, and I'm going to stuff it in my fist just like that. There it goes.
Okay.
Goes all the way down in there. And then, if we wave, open your hand slow. Yeah!
Hey, that's amazing.
Okay, so here, I'm going to put one of those in my pocket. And then I can always, I can always take these and, we can always just split them like that. It's fun. Huh?
Yeah.
All right, I keep looking for my magic marker. It's somewhere. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Oh, and then I guess I should get one of those sponge balls out again.
Okay.
Yeah, here.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to take it, and I'm going to let you wave, and you'll be able to do it.
Sure. I'm waving. All right.
Wave it.
All right.
Yeah. Make the magic. Oh
man.
Whoa!
Nice.
Wow, you see?
That's great.
Everybody can learn to do magic.
Even
Thank
me.
you, Peter, you did a good job. Man, you're the big time now.
That's great. Yeah.
Woo!
No, I love. I mean, anytime it can be visual like that, that's and like you said, and tactile. I mean, that was a fine example also of it's when any. So what I love about doing magic tricks with sponge balls is that even though our brain knows that it's made out of sponge, when you open your hand and there's something in your hand that is bigger than what you could normally fit in a closed fist. Again, it's a subconscious thing where you open your hand up and something pops out and it gets such a great reaction from people because it occupies more space than it should have,
And if you can involve the person, then especially if the magic happens in their hands,
sure.
That's really strong. And it gives them, it elicits a response where they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I find that magic, like I said before, it's universal. Anybody can understand it. So it's a universal language. At I find that magic, if you perform at a banquet or if you're, at someone's home or any event, where you're doing magic, it's very memorable and they're going to remember it for years and years to come, as opposed what they ate at that banquet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had chicken or something,
Sure.
But I'll never forget that magician. And he made that thing appear in my hand. I was like, what? Or I got this card that I signed. I carried it in my wallet. I still got it. It was 10 years ago.
Right.
They never forget because it creates an experience that is so unique. That it's not something they encounter every day.
Yeah. No, and that's part, you've given that sales pitch to a bunch of corporate clients, I can tell, as have I. I mean, at the end of the day, the food needs to serve the purpose of making sure people are fed, and the food might be exceptional, but you're right. From our biased perspective, having us show up at an event is going to add that extra. We're making memories. It's not just all right. We have to have some food, so we're going to get through things. You got a chance to do. I know you've done corporate stuff. I know you've done some commercials, right? Like the TV type stuff.
Yeah, I did. I had a commercial that was talking about investments and saving money. And so they wanted me to create a magical effect, and I was making money grow or, appear. And I did a couple other things. It was designed to fit into this, I guess it was a 1-minute commercial.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
And it was called Choose to Save.
Yeah.
And so I did it. And I thought it was just going to be some kind of local thing. Next thing I know, this commercial is being shown all over the world.
Nice.
And people that were in a certain country that came back, they went, "Hey, man, I saw your commercial over in Indonesia.
What?
And over here." And I said, "What?" And so apparently that Choose to Save commercial was used, I guess, because they figured it was something that would be a kind of, point of interest for people to better their lives because they can save by investing a small amount of money and making it grow, making it grow. And stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, and you're catching, I mean, it's a sort of dry, boring topic, but by combining it with magic, you are creating an interesting visual that's what TV's all about. So I think that very smart of them to bring in a magician to sort of illustrate that.
Well, I found that throughout the years, the TV has used magic a lot.
Sure.
Used magicians, and they create the image to promote the product somehow.
Yeah.
I used to work for the Buttock Meat Company.
Okay.
And I would have these packages. They came in little, plastic packages, a bunch of the meat.
Okay.
They still sell stuff like that, cheese and things.
Yep.
So I had to figure out how to use the product. And so I took a fan of cards and I would fan it out and I'd say, "Well, listen, it's in the cards that buttock meat is going to give you the best flavor." And I turned the whole fan of cards into 2 packages of buttock meat.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So it was, and I did Long John Silver, I did all kinds of different places, and they like using magic if it's done properly.
Sure.
I did a mobile company, the gas station, because they were having these little food markets or whatever they call them.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And now when people go to get gas, there's candy bars, there's water, there's sodas.
Sure.
So this was an industrial one where they had to have me do all this magic with items that were going to be on sale.
Okay.
They would promote it. So
Gotcha.
it works.
Cool.
It's fun. It's actually, the challenge is learning to put the product together and make the magic happen and get the message across.
Right. Well, and do you, I feel like you've dipped your toe in pretty much every type of magic, whether it's up close, whether it's trade show. You've done some stage illusions, lots of parlor, living room type shows. Do you have a favorite, or do you sort of like the pros and cons that come with each one?
Wow. There are definitely pros and cons
Sure.
because of the environment that you may have to work in.
Right.
And the restrictions that are placed upon you as far as trying to perform your show.
Sure.
But as far as performing, it doesn't matter to me if it's close up or if it's a stage. Now, I don't do a lot of the big illusions. I have a few.
Sure.
And I might throw one into my stage show, but I wasn't doing a full evening of
That's
stage
true. Yeah,
like David Copperfield.
Yeah.
Because for me, it wasn't practical. I'm working.
Right.
Sometimes I'm working in people's living rooms.
Yeah.
Or I'm at a banquet hall or a bar.
Right.
I remember one time being with my good friend James Marshall, who's a really great magician in his own right.
Sure.
And hopefully you'll get him in here for your podcast.
I'll try.
He's got a lot of stories and a wonderful experience, and he really is a great performer.
Yeah.
So we were in a bar and then doing some magic in that setting where you kind of just find an area to make yourself like a little area that's like a stage, a staging.
Sure.
And then you just go for it to show these people. They don't even know if you're going to be there sometimes.
Right.
But other times, of course, you're walking around and interacting with them real up close.
Okay.
But I did one of my favorites I used to do. Michael Finney is a great magician.
Yep.
And very famous. And he had a real funny routine for his rope routine.
Okay. Yep. I've seen it. It's great.
I did that in a bar. It was perfectly appropriate.
Yeah.
And they loved it. And the
Yeah.
woman I did it to, she just had a ball. It was great.
Yeah.
So, but you pick and choose the kind of magic you're going to do,
Right.
and the venue you're working in will determine
Sure.
what would be appropriate.
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm again back to owning your own shop. At least you have access to as wide of a variety as props that are out there. So you can, if you need to bring in something a little bit bigger, or it's going to be something very small and up close, you can kind of. It's the kid in the candy store thing.
Oh yeah, man. I think anybody who's involved in magic as a hobbyist or as a performer, a professional, or just a part-time, or even just as someone to do it with the family.
Sure.
They have a treasure trove of effects,
Yep.
which help to keep us magic dealers in business.
Sure. Yep.
But I have so much over the years. And then I can go and look at things and say, well, I think this would be appropriate to do with a certain, show that I'm going to do.
Sure.
Or whatever venue I'm going to be in.
Yeah.
And I can pick through all that. I got so much magic that I have more magic than would ever last several lifetimes.
I believe it. Yeah. Well, and you don't know what is necessarily going to stick for you. So you might acquire something and try it for a while, and then you realize for whatever reason it's not really clicking with you or clicking with your audience, and then you have to sort of move on. So,
yeah, you find which effects get the kind of impact and reaction that really makes it all the better.
Sure.
So you pick and choose. But sometimes it's an experimental thing. You have to learn by doing it and say, that didn't work very well. I don't like that. Or I love this trick.
Yeah.
We all get our pet effects.
Yep. No, but that only comes from that trial and error for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this was a lovely chat. I had an awesome time. We should do it again.
You know what? Before we end, I better.
Yeah.
The doctor tells me I got to take this medication.
Oh yeah.
I have to take these pills, and he says, "Here, you got to take this pill here." And
that's a hard pill to swallow.
Said, holy mackerel! How many times a day do I have to take this pill? He says, "Well, it's going to get you right up."
Oh no!
And so I said, "But wait, how many times a day do I have to take this pill?" And you know what he did? He went like this. Boo! Boo! Boo!
Oof. Oh, that hurts.
God, I need some drink. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad we got a chance. We can tell your doc you took your pill.
I just got to keep running to the pharmacy and refilling this thing every day. It's like three times a day.
Tough refill.
But I'll be okay.
Oh, I'm glad to hear. Well, that's big thanks to Barry Taylor for hanging out with me. And that is going to be it for this episode of the Podcast of the Impossible. But for my public shows and the Museum of the Impossible, social media, all that stuff, you can head on over to oftheimpossible.com. I'm Peter Wood. Thanks.
All right.